Hey everyone, okay, this is something that keeps popping up on my Snapchat. I open up an hour every day for live Q&A where you can ask me questions back and forth. But there seems to be an awful lot of book recommendations going up there this week. So I'm going to do a full video on it and do my 5 top book recommendations at the minute. Probably my top 5, if I was to die tomorrow, these would be the top 5 books I'd leave behind and be like, everybody should read these. They're absolutely fucking amazing. I've got different ones that I like on audio and different audio versions. A lot of my favorite books, I've got both. So I've got like the audio version and the hard copy, and I'll listen to it and read it, and I'll make reference to it. Like they say, books should be like best friends that you can literally just take, that you're able to go back to them anytime you need it. So I regularly do that. I'll read a book from start to finish all the way through, and then I'll constantly take bits out of it as I need it, and I highlight it as I go along. Okay, so first one, not in any really particular order. I've got a mixture here of like psychology books, self-help books, nutrition books, fitness books, literally my top 5. So the one I recommended that's probably my favorite of all time is Robert Greene's Mastery. It's the one that got a load of screenshots on my Snapchat last week. Mastery is, I first listened to the audio version. The audio version is great on Audible, and I bought the hard copy and read it as well. It's basically talking about all the masters. Robert Greene's a historian, so it's basically talking about all the masters in their fields. So like Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Darwin, people that were the top of their fields, that literally were able to do their 10,000 hours. He says that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something, and he talks through the lives of the greats, Napoleon Bonaparte, the people that have done amazing things in life, and how they were able to become masters in their fields. It's one of those that you're going to learn a lot in the history, but you're going to take a lot from the kind of mindsets and stuff that these people have and the reasons they were so successful. He's also got 48 Laws of Power, which is a great book, and a couple of other ones, but I didn't like them as much. Then the next one is Unlock Your Muscle Gene. So if you are a fitness professional, a personal trainer, or have anything to do with fitness, that's a must read for everybody. Holfmekler is probably one of my favorite people of all time in terms of his nutrition style. It's funny because you got to be a little bit careful with nutrition books, because what you put into your mind will become your thought process. I've been reading nutrition books and doing fitness stuff for 15 years plus, so I can take the good stuff from it, and then the other ideas, like where he swears by training fasted and intermittent fast and things that I've tried, applied, and haven't worked, I'm able to say, well, that didn't work for me, and I'm able to use the goals in there, like the carb sources and the fat sources, and that gives the scientific explanation to why your body would prefer carbs or fats, and how to figure it out depending on your phenotype, trying to figure out how to test that on yourself. So one of my favorites. Now that I just think, I have this book over here, I always kind of tie the two together, is Paul Chek's How to Eat, Move and Be Healthy. They're very, very similar. They're very much both built on a holistic lifestyle, avoiding processed food, avoiding fast foods, all the things that give your body too many jobs to do. So if you're trying to lose body fat or build muscle, these books are the ideas in these books are putting in plans in place so that you don't have to deal with processed food or deal with the shit in life that's going to slow down that process. So things like eating processed food will give your body another job to do. It's like the post I put up during the week, the blog post about if I gave you a job and said, okay, clean the dishes, sweep the floor, and put out the clothes, and gave you 20 minutes to do it, you'd either do all 3 jobs really poorly, or you'd do one, maybe start the second, and you wouldn't get to the third. That's how your body is when you eat processed foods. If you're trying to build muscle and lose body fat, if your body is trying to break down processed food, it has a whole other job to do. So it's got to do that first before it even prioritize its body fat, losing body fat or building muscle. So this kind of gave me a really good, strong base on why that's important. So I like those 2 books together. Then one I just finished is The Compound Effect. This is going to be probably one of those books that I buy a few of and give them to people as I go along. The Compound Effect is massively based on where all the inches add up, where all the things add up. There's a great little story in this book about about 2 friends, and they gave them the choice. Look, you can either take 3 million now, or I'll give you a penny a day, and it's going to double every day for 31 days. And it tells the story of the 2 people. So one girl takes her 3 million, and it's like, okay, I'm going to take my 3 million. That's cool. And the other one goes, okay, I'm going to take the penny. That's going to compound and double every day for 31 days. So that's cool. It's going fine. 20 days in, the girl with the 3 million's like, yeah, fucking, I made a good choice, that was a good call. And the other one's got, you know, $5,000 or 5,000 euro, whatever it is. But then slowly the compound effect starts to double up. So on day 29, they match, and she's got her, I think, just under 2.5 million, so she's just under. Then on day 30, she goes to 5 million, and then it compounds, and on day 31, it goes to 10 million. So at the end of the 31 days, one's got 3 million, the other's got fucking 10 million, or over 10 million, and it shows how the compound effect can be so powerful in your life, where you're adding up all the little things, and when you're doubling things over, it can be really, really powerful, and how to get aspects of your life correct every single day, and then that's what's going to add up. So if you're trying to lose body fat, you know, making the small changes every day, you know, it's like, I've worked with people when they've, you know, haven't trained in 10 years or whatever it is, and they're overweight, and they're like, oh, I haven't seen results, and it's 2 weeks in. I'm like, well, if I asked you to, you know, if I said to you, I want to be fluent, I'm going to learn Spanish and I want to be fluent in, you know, 2 weeks, what would you tell me? You'd be like, oh, probably not going to be fucking fluent in 2 weeks. But if I said you'd be fluent in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's possible. That's kind of how that works, and that's kind of how the compound effect is based. Then this evolutionary psychology of the mind, a hard one to recommend to get to people because it's a fucking expensive book. A book costs 120 euro or whatever it is to ship it. It's a textbook from I think David M. Buiss is a Harvard professor, basically talking about how we've evolved over time, and particularly how our mind has evolved over time. I was talking with a girl last night about we as people. There's a theory called the whisper of 10,000 generations. It's basically that we as a people have evolved over time, and the strongest survive. It's the Darwin theory of the strongest will survive, or the most adaptable will survive. Survival of the fittest, are the most adaptable survive. Every kind of problem we have in our life, we have evolved from ancestors that had to adopt and evolve that psychology of the mind in order to be here now. You know, I was talking about how we as people are designed to look at negative things, because that negative fallacy, that negative thought process was something that kept us alive 10,000 years ago. To be able to look out for predators, to be able to look out for things, our brain is trained to look for negative things. It's something that kept us alive thousands of years ago, but now that we're in a Western society where we're lucky and we don't have to watch out for those things in large part, our brain still does that. Because she was talking about how, you know, if she's in the gym and her hair, she was like, my hair is a mess. And I was like, well, I saw you and you looked amazing everywhere else. We don't see the 95% that looks amazing. We only see the 5% that looks terrible, you know, because that's where our reticular activation is, where our brain is focused. We're focused to look at negative things. This is when I did the video during the week, and I had people messaging going, you should watch fucking media, you should watch the news. I'm like, why watch the fucking news? You know, I'm giving an opinion on it. The reality is the news is based on negative things because it's what draws attention, because our brains are designed and evolved over time to look for negative things. That's a basic evolutionary adaptation that we've developed. It just happens that we're in a different society now, in a different age, but all those things hold true. You know, that's why that book has massively helped me. It talks about things like the reason that, you know, females find guys attractive with higher testosterone, and the evolutionary reasons for that, the reasons why guys go for younger women and things like, and it's basically giving the evolutionary breakdown and why we do everything that we do. It's an absolute game changer. It's a little bit heavy and it's a big fucking book, but it's one of those things that gives you so much, okay, that's why we do that. Because the reality is, you know, there's a part in the book, and I told my friend when I was in London that, you know, the reason that people are afraid of heights and afraid of spiders and snakes was that's an evolutionary thing. You know, that kept you alive. The people that were afraid of heights and that were afraid of spiders and afraid of snakes, that fear that we have now, that was evolved because the people that weren't afraid got fucking killed because they fell off fucking cliffs or got eaten by a fucking snake, you know. So everything that we have, all of those fears, all of the things that we do, was all based down to an evolutionary adaptation that came, and it's part of us. Because if we're here now, that means that our ancestors have survived down the line, and that's why we have those traits and feelings now. And last one then, I haven't quite finished this, but I'm putting it in there because it's definitely going to go to the fucking top of my list when I finish it. Is Seneca, Stoic Letters to a Stoic. I read Seneca's The Shortness of Life, and that's one of my favorites as well. Basically, where he talks about that life isn't short, it's that we're too easy to give up our time and give up our energy to people, and that's what makes life short. And we're going through life doing things that, There's a great quote in that book where he talks that if somebody came around your house and took the fucking keys of your house and took all of your possessions and all your clothes, you'd be like, fuck right off, get out of my fucking house. But we're not that thorough with people when they try and take our time and energy. We just give it to them free-nilly. And it's a great message in the book. And the letter from a Stoic is basically all of his letters as he went along, talking about how to be happy or how to be present in the moment and then what you need to do in life to have happiness. All modern day mindset books, anyone from your Tony Robbins to your Jim Rohn to all these great thinkers in modern mindset, this is where it fucking started. Started with Stoic philosophy, some Epicurean philosophy, started with, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, these people that were philosophers and understood thousands of years ago, way before fucking me or you, way before I had a fucking iPad or laptop or thing to record a video. These were the same thing, because psychology in people doesn't change. When you're reading stories in this about people being too attached to their possessions, that was written 2,000 years ago, you're like, holy fuck, we still do that, and it's probably more applicable today. Human psychology doesn't change, society changes, and everything changes around it, but human psychology doesn't change. So it's something that gives you so much clarity in life. Happiness comes from clarity. Understanding the past, understanding the philosophies, how the human psychology, how human mind works, is something that can give you so much peace in your own self. So it's why I love Seneca. Is becoming one of my favorite philosophers. Seneca and Confucius. Confucius is just, the man who thinks he can and thinks he can't are both usually right. Two of my favorites. So I hope this helps. That should work after the awesome feedback on Snapchat. If you're not following my Snapchat, head over to BrianK019. I open it Monday to Friday, every day for about an hour, where you can ask me questions back and forth. So go check that out. This video spawned from the Snapchat and the amount of questions I was getting on books. So I hope this helps. Please like and share the page. Catch up with you guys soon.